Welcome back to another reaction for That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 4, Episode 3. Say trust her. Okay, we are going back to her. Fair enough. I guess she is a wizard? Red eye.
私はマリア・ベルロッツォ、西方諸国を裏で牛耳る小国シルトロッツォ王国の姫として生ま
Does it?
れた。もうすぐ10歳。まだ10歳。私は転生者。
Oh, why did I not consider this? Okay, so she got reincarnated. So we have 3, 4. At least. Right, we have Rimuru, we have the Gate Leader, 5. We have Gate Leader, we have Hero, Lucky Hero, Masayuki, Yuri, whatever. We have Miss Hero, I forgot her name, that nearly destroyed the dungeon, and now we have her? Sure. Why not?
私の前世は
However, does not look Japanese.
大貴族の娘だった。才能、努力、幸運、要素は数あれど、気づけば欧州を裏から操る支配者となっていた。女であることも私には何ら
Okay.
私には何らマイナスになることはない。
Are those cotton plants?
すべては方法次第だった。
And then you got killed.
私はあらゆる手段を使って金融を操り
I cannot tell where exactly this is. He did say Europe. And we have this whole thing going, which Imperial Company, which I would assume is then something like England, because these are IOUs, more or less what we would consider nowadays banknotes, right? I'm assuming. It could also be dogs. Some people are happy, a lot of people are unhappy, some people have no clue. Nonetheless, the big part, she was not in modern day. This is older. So what are those cars, like the pretty early on cars? I don't even know when cars came to be. Probably like 2030s. This could be the great the not dark age, what was it called? The 30, which everything went to shit. The big recession had a specific name, the Great Depression. So this could be the Great Depression, maybe.
戦争すら駒の
I mean, those tanks look so old. They look more like World War One.
一つとしていた。
French warfare again. World War One.
あまたの子 不幸の上に私は栄華を積み上げていき、私が
Okay. White Rock.
私が裏で支配する世界で
Heavy
幸せに生き
lanes.
て
Jet planes are important.
幸せ
Because this is past World War II.
に生きてそして天寿を全うした。
So you lived close to modern day, right? Because we saw her at the beginning at the plantation or whatever with the old cars. Here we have more, not modern, but 80s, 90s cars, right? Maybe 70s. So we can assume she lived to maybe like the 80s, 90s. I reckon not longer than that. She lived forever though. I mean,
本
holy
日
shit.
より姫様付きの乳母となりますエリオラと申します。よろしくお願いいたします。さあ、マリアベルにも挨拶してあげて。マリアベルにも挨
She's saying Maria Bell, but we have
拶
Maribel?
してあげて
Huh?。
姫様、はじめまして。よろしくお願いいたします。
ほら、マリアベルを抱き上げてくれ。
はい。
マリアベルをよろしく頼む。
They all say Maria Bell. There's an A they put in. And normally they only you put like an A or something after everything not similar to an A, like a BL. So is it wrong? Is it Maria Bell? Lime. Maria Bell. Maria Bell Rosso. There's an A.
頼りにしているわ。
Theoretically, there's the double L and an E
しているわ。
from my short googling.
はい。命に変えましても。
So she has
私は
Shaman.
ユニークスキルグリードを持って生まれた。
Okay.
可愛いわね。
ああ、だがちっとも笑わないな。
そのうち笑うわよ。
そうだな。
Give her a little coin.
転生した世界は前世とはかけ離れた世界だった。魔法、そしてスキル。私のグリードは生物の欲望を支配。
It is still some kind of mind manipulation, but you manipulate greed. Interesting.
そして欲望が大きければ大きいほど支配が容易になる。
How are you able to control an owl? That's a little bit weird. I would assume an owl doesn't know greed.
私は生まれながらにして最強だった。
ん？ああ、あそこはグランベル様のお部屋だよ。直系の我々でもお目通りはなかなか叶わないお方だよ。
気になるのかしら。
笑ったぞ。
ロッツォの祖グランベル・ロッツォ。
The hero.
1000年前人類
A millennium ago.
守護のために周辺国家をまとめ上げ西方評議会を創設し滑る
Millennium ago.
元勇者。
How fucking old is he?
私が緊張している。
はい。
I'm assuming that he has like an aura that people can't really fight against normally. So if someone is standing in front of his door, they are probably worthy of at least talking to.
失礼い
Or maybe he has an interest in... Maybe he has an interest in the little girl, which I mean his granddaughter.
たします。
お前がマリア・ベルか。
はい。
I'm just going to make sure. Sensei Shitara, Vicky Maria Bel Rosso. Villain Vicky Maria Bel Rosso. Without any at the end. There's a different way to write it, I guess. IMDb, Maria Bel Rosso. Near Pure Evil Wiki. Stupid wiki name. We have the Reddit has Maria Bell. Now my anime list has Maria Bell. I assume, I'm hearing an A where no A would be inserted from Japanese. It would be a different thing if after the L they would add an E or an A or whatever, because they don't like ending on those consonants or whatever. They want to end on a vowel. Then okay. But there's one after a vowel which is normally not where they insert extra stuff because of their speech, as far as I know. So
お初にお目にかかります。
maybe it's just a different way to write this.
おじいさま。
わしを操ろうとしなかった理由は何だ。
So he knows. So a millennium ago he was a great hero. So he's super old, or the story is bullshit. But he did see through her ability. Interesting.
何のことでしょう。
とぼけるな。お前の周りの者はすでにお前の駒だろう。兄弟、乳母、召使い。ああ、不王もか。すべてがお前の言いなりだ。
私は人の欲望が見えるわ。
I mean, assumption would be he doesn't have any greed she can manipulate. Maybe, but that doesn't really make sense because he is more or less putting her somewhere to do stuff. We saw maybe she can see his greed and it's like, oh, we are on the same wavelength. We are more or less, why should I control you if we are on the same side doing the same thing?
見えるのよ。それを刺激することで相手を操れるの。おじいさまは誰よりも大きな野望を抱きつつ、見事に抑え込む意志の強さを感じたわ。だから。
So she believes she's not able to abuse it?
そこまで見抜くか小娘。いや、マリア・ベル。お前は何者だ。
私は強欲のマリア・ベル。
I'm still wondering, is the story correct? Is he from a millennium ago? You can never trust Crunchyroll. So why is he so old? He probably has something as well that is making him live long. He was a hero. Was he just a hero because he diplomatically moved all the countries together, or was there something else? Is he super powerful?
面白い。わしを前に堂々と自分を主張するか。
私はおじい様と話す権利を手に入れた。
What are those?
マリア・ベルよ、お前はわしに何かあった時野望を引き継ぐのだ。わしが願うはこの世の平安、我らロッツォ一族の支配の下だ。あまねく平等な人類の世界を実現しようぞ。
Yeah, a world where every human is equal under our rule. And the people we don't like, we declare non-human. Therefore, they cannot be equal because they are not human anymore.
そしてこの世界でも支配者として君臨するのだわ。
I mean, clearly not. So is the problem that there are some humans in Rimorous town city? Because otherwise I don't see why you need to engage with him. You can still control all the Western nations. Maybe what happens is she's controlling them. They go to Rimuru City, and because of the barrier, they get purged because it's from Shuna, and she's like a holy maiden. Maybe. Otherwise, I don't know why you need to control Tempest. Technically, it doesn't really count as a Western nation. It's inside Valdora's forest and is more or less central. It also seems like you are not willing or trying to control Dwarfgon or whatever, which I believe is a little bit north of Tempest, if I remember correctly. So I don't really know why this conflict. Nonetheless, we have another Reincarnator with another sin as ability, this time greed. I mean, all the opening I did not really look into much, but the ending is just her walking, and she has sand. I would argue gold sand maybe, but sand nonetheless, dripping out, and then a lot of blood. And we also see an hourglass, which she is more or less walking around, meaning that it looks like this is going to be bloody and her time is running out. Meaning that we most likely do not or are not going to see her going forward after this season, maybe next, depending. Which just makes it even more weird why she would fight Tempest. Also, the question is the grandfather going to go down or not? Because she does not seem like the fighting one. She manipulates people, sure. But she also said that most of the Western nation or kingdoms, whatever, are already controlled by the Rotso. I don't know if that is true, but wouldn't that essentially mean that Tempest would be in an all-out war against the Western nations? Maybe. However, I feel like someone on Rimuru's side could probably purge the control ability, the greed ability, which is would be a little bit weird because it feels like these super abilities should be super strong, like greed, gluttony. They should be untouchable for normal people. We will see. First, we have to train our minions. which I feel like we don't have enough time to. Avatar team is formed. The Last Airbender leaked? Okay. You're on the floor 30. You don't deserve to be here. Go back to floor number 1.
いいかいのだ。なぜ私の邪魔をする。
何を言う。急に出てきたお前の方こそ我の邪魔を。
Ow! You're fucking Ramirez. You know where all the traps. Oh, you're so useless. You know where all the traps is. You put them there. How can you trigger your own trap? You're a skeleton. Come on. I would also have imagined that the skeleton would be more magic focused because we have a little bit too much melee stuff going on. We have a huge knight, we have a slime, and now we have a melee fighting skeleton. I'm assuming Rimuru is a little bit range. You are not going to defeat anyone. That is wrong. You are going to defeat yourself.
なぜ罠が。我は踏んでおらぬぞ。
こいつら
そこだ。
やっちまえ。
もうあいつらひどすぎ。手心ってものはないわけ。お前が考えなしに突っ込むから悪いのだ。そんなこと言われたって。
ラミリスよ、貴様が切り込み隊長なのは構わぬ。だが貴様のせいで我はひどい目にあったのだぞ。
ごめん師匠。それを言うならベルドラも私を切ったではないか。
だからあれは
やっぱ闇雲に突っ込むだけじゃダメか。こんなんじゃリュクランどころじゃないよ。
どうするのだリムル。
俺たちのアバターはまだ低レベルの魔物でしかないからな。よし。
Ah, we give it equipment. So we are stronger. I see. Well, you know, we could. We can't really level it outside. There's no one to fight against. That is low enough. Can't you just name them? There's something wrong here. Everyone is normal, but someone is not. Why is she in slime form?
リムル様、リムル様だ。
ようこそリムル様。
おお、だいぶ増えたな。
お前たち挨拶したらさっさと作業に戻るだよ。
はい。
で、今日はどうしたんだい。皆さんお揃いで。
実はちょっと装備を整えたくてね。まずは見てくれ。ひょい。
おお、これはまた。
なるほど、魔物用の装備ってわけですかい。
ああ、ぜひ君たちに頼みたい。
わかっただ。最高の品を用意するだで。
おや、腕が鳴るってもんだ。
いいか、俺たちに必要なのは連携だ。
I don't see new equipment. Also, what equipment? We have a flame, we have a slime, and I guess Milim is unable to transform into something else? Because that is the whole point of the slime, can transform. Whatever, the only one that I can see wearing more or less any kind of equipment is the skeleton. Our armor, sure, a weapon? But she already is wearing armor. Maybe you could replace it.
ラミリスが闇雲に突っ走るのも問題だが、ベルドラとミリムも仲間がいるということを忘れないでくれ。
連携か。確かにあまり経験がないな。
私もなのだ。まあこいつらピンで最強だからな。とにかく必要なのは特訓だ。装備ができるまでは浅い階層で初心者狩りと行こう。ひどい提案なのよさ。
I mean, you need experience. You need to fight someone.
こうして俺たちの特訓の日々は始まった。
Remember that this whole thing started because they wanted some way to increase the difficulty of the dungeon. Essentially, because they want to get rid of the green capes, whatever. And that is one of the ideas Rimuru had. So we are essentially on a timer because they already defeated floor 40. And 49 is the floor that is really evil. And I'm assuming that is where they want to make their stand. So they don't really have like a year or so to train. They're even unable to defeat simple enemies. Okay, is this going to increase their strength or whatnot? I mean, at least he defeated one. I do wonder, can they get from what it looks like, they can gain experience and level. They can grow stronger. Can they evolve at some point? Why does Rimuru not just name them? Wouldn't they then get stronger? By the way, I feel like it's the first time we see Rimuru even do anything. Those are some weird looking adventurers.
行くぞ、連携を忘れるなよ。
我が引き寄せ。
動きを封じて。隙ができたらとどめの一撃。ボスモンスターを倒すまでに成長し。
Why? The whole point was to fight against the adventurers. And there are probably enough adventurers going around. Why defeat the boss monster? I don't really know how the dungeon works. If you defeat the boss monster, is it coming back soon? Or the next adventurers that come here are like lucky and just can go further without having to defeat the boss?
我に切れぬものはない。
お前ら本番はこれからなんだからな。
リムル様ですよね。
おお、ミョルマイル君、こんな姿で悪いな。何か進展あったのか？
実は
Equipment? Okay.
チーム緑蘭がいよいよ49階層に到達する模様です。
やれ。
相変わらず用心深い戦い方
Is that the boss? Looks like the boss.
だな。
はい、陣形を崩すことなく効率的に体力を削っております。
思ったより厄介そうだな。せめてこいつらのレベルが分かれば。
I mean, it doesn't really matter. You know that it's like an army. You know there's one commander. If you get rid of the commanders, the rest of the army probably falls flat. They are not going to be as coordinated anymore. They're not going to adhere to the plan and the tactic. Stuff is going to get wild if the commander's taken care of.
個体名ラミリスの小さな世界への干渉が許可されれば可能です。
マジか。ラミリス、お前の小さな世界に干渉したいんだがいいか？別にいいけど大丈夫なの？すごい情報量だよ。大丈夫だ。頼む。
I do wonder if Raphael is ever going to turn evil. He has a lot, he, she, whatever. They have a lot of controls, a lot of information. They were able to take over his body at some point. And they can take it over again, if need be. So it feels like this one is growing a little bit too strong. Right? So it could be something that may or may not turn evil.
いいわよ。
これより情報収集を開始します。チーム緑蘭の解析鑑定が終了。
なるほどな。もうできたの？
何か分かったのか？
ああ。リーダーのこいつは A ランクオーバー。他にも何人か A ランク相当のメンバーがいるみたいだ。
なんだと？
どうするのさ？やはり正攻法じゃ無理だ。罠に特化した49階層、決戦の地で迎え撃つしかない。装備が間に合わなかったのは心もとないが。
何言ってるべ、リムルさん。
What is this slow walk? You're just bringing equipment. It's not that you're joining the big fight.
アバター専用の装備が完成しただ。
最高かよ。
Is that the new armor? I can't really tell. It looks like new armor. I feel like it's going to explain what we got. But they showcase the axe, clear, okay. And they are showcasing armor. Heavy living armor, class berserker. Equipment, death axe, heavy pull, full plate. So you put armor on top of armor. Now maybe the flame part is the real avatar. I don't know. Class assassin, death pickaxe, crimson cape. Yeah, that is. I see. Yep, those wings look like a pickaxe or like a cape. Again, the one I would assume is the easiest one to give equipment to. Class fighter, death bastard, hellmail gate shield. Oh, bastard sword. Hellmail again. This one had the most usable surface for equipment. Sorcerer, death size, hell close. You know, sorcerer is not really melee. So why is there death size involved? Unless it increases their magic ability? So this is what he meant by 49 is more or less like a big hurdle because there's something going on. There was something planned, and we did see a little bit of slime or ooze dripping down. So this is what he meant. I could imagine that the boss is like an ooze or slime that divides whenever it gets killed or damaged enough, and it divides more or less endlessly until the whole room is filled with little cubes.
何なのこの階層。スライム隊長、後ろからも。
Do they form endlessly? Because they did spawn out of the slime. Maybe the whole ground is one big monster that gives birth to other monsters, to slimes.
切れた。
Did you say simple barrier? Yeah.
切れた。
アイン隊長、大丈夫ですか？
最悪よ。まったくいやらしい罠ばかり。
くそ、剣が。どうした？死んでいます。うなじに傷跡が。一体どこから？
Shouldn't they go back to the beginning? Right? Shouldn't they just despawn instead of bleeding?
遅いのだ、ノロモメ。
この階層のコンセプトはスライムってわけね。
Yeah, look at that slime.
これが私たちの
新たな必殺戦法。
何なのよ。スライムがコンセプトならスライムで来なさいよね。
ではお望み通りそうしよう。
今度はゴースト。
Yeah, I don't know how you are going to do that. Also, this is like a room with 4 entrances. I feel like this could be a trap room where you just have acid going down the entranceways and then slowly fill the room with acid. And they can't really do much, otherwise they take a shit ton of damage.
あ、俺今ゴーストだったんだ。
何を言っているんだか知らないけど、ゴースト程度。
残念、そこはスライムプール。この隙に試させてもらうよ。
So this is different to the ooze, because this did not really dissolve anything like the acid did. So, okay.
自分を信仰したら俺も神聖魔法を使えるのかどうか気になってたんだよね。
What? You don't need to give them your ability thingy. I mean, Shuna was able to use holy magic, right? Without that? I don't know.
だよね。神よ、力を貸したまえ。ホーリーレイ。
How did you have any difficulty before? If you could, you never tried Holy Ray before? You never were like, maybe I can just one-shot everyone. She is stronger than A-class. And he just one-shot her additionally to like a bunch of other dudes with one spell. I mean, never thought about that earlier. A little bit OP.
使えるんかい。やったぞー、ついにやった完全勝利。なるほどな。神の力を借りるってこういうことか。術者の希望をいちいち聞いているわけじゃなく、演算は本人に任せているんだ。 それどころか、術師
The gods themselves do the computation, and I assume Raphael does it?
それどころか、
Or
術者の脳を使って神自身の演算領域を増や
computational range. Oh, down there. God's intelligence increased. I'm assuming magic has some relevance toward intelligence. Like more intelligence, stronger magic or something. So the more people believe in you, the more people are under your guidance as a god, the more intelligent you become, or the bigger your stat essentially becomes. Not necessarily you get more smarter, but your intelligence stat grows, okay. But in turn, whenever they call on you for their ability, you do the work, essentially. But because you are yourself, or you believe in yourself, you do most of the work, which is that the reason why your holy ray was a bunch of smaller rays instead of one big fuck you ray? Maybe. It also explains why Ice, was it Ice? Ice Lady, Vampire Lady, Vampire. Why she wanted, why she had the whole religion going. Because she wanted more intelligence? I believe she had something to do with ice, right? Wasn't there like an ice castle or something? There was someone sleeping. She wants to wake up. Wasn't that the point? Maybe that is why she's gathering intelligence. I don't know. We will maybe see. I hope.
すことも可能だ。
おいリムルよ、難しい顔をするでない。我らの勝利ぞ。
おう、そうだな。すまんすまん。本当は俺も自分たちで作ったダンジョンを楽しみたかっただけ。ってのは内緒にしておこう。それにしてもチーム緑蘭か。
So are they going to give up, or are they just going to repeatedly try to defeat dungeon level 49? Because I don't believe you can be there all the time to push them back. And the same, I would probably want to fight Masayuki. Just to see how it works. Could you defeat him? Could you not? Could they defeat you?
一体どこの貴族が。
もうせっかくの稼ぎが。
潮時でしたし、いいタイミングでしょう。
まあ、呼び出しがかかっているものね。
Oh yeah, sure. So this most likely agreed lady.
行くよ。
But now you can follow her to find out where she goes.
なんと魔王リムルに暗躍を築かれたとは。ギルドへの出資者としてはいい報告を期待していたのだがな。グランドマスター勇気神楽坂よ。
それは失礼を。証拠は残してないんだけどね。
であればその口八丁で言い逃れでもすればよいではないか。グランベル王は魔王リムルが邪魔だと仰せだ。貴様でも倒せぬのか。
あっちには暴風竜までいるんだ。人間にどうこうできる相手じゃない。
Luckily, you are not a mere human, right?
明確に答えてほしいのよ。
おお、マリアベル。グランベル王は
今日は私一人なの。それよりも答えて。あなたが本気を出した場合、魔王リムルを倒せるのかしら。
No. I mean, he probably, if I had to guess, he probably can't answer. Because they are fighting on a level that is going to be unknowable. And this does not include stuff like Veldora in the equation, I'm assuming.
日向でも勝てない相手だぜ。僕が戦っても難しいと思うよ。
I think I would struggle. Not lose, struggle.
ま、条件次第ではわからないけど。
Again, if you put Veldora in it, Milim, any of the other people that Rimuru has around, this is all going to be disadvantageous for this guy.
魔王リムル一人ならば排斥は可能ということね。やはり厄介なのは暴風竜ね。藪をつついて蛇を出すのは愚かなの。取れる策は怪獣。テンペストの価値が広まってより大きな障害となる前に。
You are already too late. I don't know what you did the last 3 seasons, but you are too late.
魔王リムルは人間との共存を望んでいたの。
ああ、あの人は人間の社会にこだわりがあるから、人間のルールを守ることでテンペストは安全だと主張したいのさ。
Question is, first off, she can see the Greedan people, she can manipulate the Greedan people. Can't she just manipulate him? Or is that impossible because he also has some ability that is fighting against greed? I don't really remember if he has anything like that. It wouldn't make sense that maybe she can't manipulate Rimuru. She was there last season. She probably tried. I'm assuming she can't use her ability in that town at all, because something is suppressing it. Again, maybe the barrier. A different thing. Do they know that they are reincarnated? Do they know that about one another?
ならばその望みを叶えてあげるのよ。そして私の欲望で染めてみせるの。ユニークスキル、グリード。私の能力ならば誰であろうと相手の欲望に干渉して支配できる。会話を重ねて少しずつ洗脳していくから。
Okay, so not instantly. This would explain, because she's saying she can manipulate interfere with anyone's greed. Again, I don't know about the owl, but fair. So if she talks enough with Rimuru, she could potentially control him. Unlikely Rafa is going to interfere. But again, this also means she should be able to manipulate Yuki, right?
一気に欲望
Oh.
を注入して自我をも破壊した操り人形にしてしまうか。
Oh.
けれど強引な支配はハイリスク。強者が相手では支配する前に感づかれる恐れがあるの。やはり魔王リムルを安全に支配する方法が必要ね。あらゆる手を使って探ってみるのよ。最悪の場合、奥の手もあるわ。
I mean, this is not I got reincarnated as a little girl with the greed skill. This is that time I got reincarnated as a slime. So you already lost. I mean, I do like the idea that she's going to try different things, different approaches. She seems to be like, okay, we are going to accept Tempest as a nation that is on good terms with humans. She gets more people to go there. some of them are under her control. She probably is going to try to cement her influence in Tempest, maybe even expand her influence with greed. Maybe she tries to take over Rimuru. Not going to happen. But I do like the idea, at least, to have different approaches here. Now, the trump card, I don't know. I assume maybe her grandfather is a trump card. Because he was the hero.
怖い怖い、まさか魔王までも操ろうとは。
I do wonder, can she control Demon Lords? She only needs enough conversation, right? It does not seem like the Demon Lords would just kill her if she were to approach on some trading terms. So, could she control them, or is there something stopping her? Maybe she's not strong enough. It could also be that because she's 10, her stats are not strong enough to control people or control everyone. Some people are probably too strong. I also wonder if she doesn't control Yuki, does she control some people in Yuki's vicinity? That is what I would do if I were in her shoes. Because, okay, I can't control him, but I want to be able to somewhat control people around him to keep an eye on him.
私に支配された者は幸せなのよ。そこにいる勇気もそう。勇気は野望が大きすぎるの。押しつぶされずに済んでいるのは私に支配されているおかげなのよ。
I call bullshit. I don't believe you are able to control him.
嘘をつけない。逆らえない。操られていることを目の前で話そうともいぶかしむことすらできない。私の支配は
Again, I call bullshit. This is a whole Milim situation all over again. I don't believe Yuki is ever under control of her. He's just more or less letting this happen. But he could always break it.
完璧な
If even that. But if that were true, then there is a possibility she could control people like Rimuru as well.
魔王リムルに招待状を書くわ。評議会に招いて反応を伺うのよ。
Okay.
片付けも終わる頃なのよ。
すべてを失った。
Right, this guy. So you want to kill him?
魔王リムルを侮ったばかりに。
Or you control him? But why? He doesn't offer anything, right?
やり直そう。生まれ変わるんだ。金など無縁の平穏な地で。
Okay. For a moment I was like, hey, good on him. He's trying. He hit rock bottom. He was like, I'm going to make it back, but no.
何
How are you unable to identify who killed him? So I guess maybe it's like a supernatural thing, special ability, special magic, something he has no idea of. Because he should be able to know where this is coming from. This is his bread and butter. You know, all the sneaking, the hiding. I believe he's the one who can have a billion clones, so, I mean a billion is, but he can have multiple clones. So I feel like he should be able to identify where this came from, who it was, what ability, but if he's unable to do any of that, there has to be something more going on. And this was the ending I was talking about, where we see her walking up, and this is the hourglass. She has like sand falling out. It looks a little bit weird, I do have to say, in the first minute or so. So that is why assumption is time is running out. But okay, so we are going to get some political intrigue regarding Rimuru and Greed, Maria Bell. I wonder how it is going to end. Because again, the clue is in the name of the show. Rimuru is going to win. Now, are we going to get rid of Maria Bell? Are we going to get rid of her greed ability? What about Yuki? Is he really controlled? Because he did say he wanted, if this doesn't work out, he would go to the Eastern Kingdoms or whatever. Last season or the season before, right? We will have to see. Very interesting though.